A friend introduced me to it, and was a good friend of is a good friend of Jen's, and she said, you know, there's this amazing game. Do you want to come, yeah, and play? And I was lucky enough that that occasion Jen actually was there to play it too. So my first experience of the game was actually playing it with Jen. No, not at all. Not confronting in a negative sense. It was very more revelatory, sort of revealing rather than confronting. And I immediately thought, yep, I want one of these myself. So I did. Yeah, I think I ordered one on the spot. Yeah. I do take notes at the time. They tend to be quite rough, quick notes though, because the flow of the game doesn't really sort of allow for you going into, you know, an in-depth thing. And I would possibly refer to them later, but in the present moment of the game, because it tends to sort of evolve after you've played it. The answer to your question and different things arise that start to sort of, you know, you realise what's involved, other aspects that are involved. And so in that respect, then yes, the notes are quite useful, but it tends to be for that actual issue that I would refer back to it. Yes, and as Lynn was saying previously, quite often you realise that it's not the question that you're actually asking that you're looking for the answer to. And I played it once where there was quite a dramatic pull-up where it told me in no uncertain terms that, you know, this is not what this is about. This is about something completely different. Now you are going to start again, and you are going to be honest with yourself about what it is that is really at issue here. And so, yes, it's very good at not only answering the question, but actually even shaping, helping you to identify what the question is, as well as answering it. So. Well, I actually gave it to one of my oldest and closest friends as a wedding present. I was obviously living over here at the time and she's in England, and so I didn't actually know, this was her second marriage, and I didn't know her husband, but I knew that she would appreciate the game for all the reasons that I appreciated the game. And the game itself is very, I mean, it's visually lovely as well. The artwork is just beautiful. You know, the involvement of crystals, and this particular friend is very much into crystals and things as well. And so just every aspect of it, it was so beautifully made, so lovely to look at. The actual concept of the whole game itself, she's a very spiritual person and is very into, you know, sort of inner work as well. So it just, and I think as someone else mentioned earlier as well, that it's a good game for those sort of life, you know, setting you off on a new phase of life sort of thing. And in fact, this particular friend, she tends to play it every New Year. That's sort of become a bit of a ritual for her to play it at New Year. No, I don't think so. I think you just need to be open to wanting to know something, if you're looking for an insight. You know, the questions can be quite basic, mundane questions, and that's one of the delightful things about the game, because it sort of operates on three levels. You have, you know, the upper and the middle and the lower world, and the game itself tends to direct you to what it is that, you know, is the main around your issue. And so it can be the, you know, the simplest of questions on And I think, you know, people are often operating on a spiritual level when they don't realise it anyway, and I think that's the nice thing about the game, that you can actually play it, like it's been mentioned about it being an after dinner game, that people will play it without thinking that they're going into something a bit, you know, like, ooh, you know. But it is quite meaningful all the same, without being scary. Yeah. I think, I mean, it hasn't been life-changing in, you know, that sort of dramatic, oh, I was like this and now suddenly I'm like this, and I think that's what's nice about the game, that it helps you actually evolve. And I think so often, you know, our conscious and our subconscious are often at cross purposes with one another, and we don't realise that. And so one of the useful tools that this game provides is that it gives you an insight into what your subconscious is actually working with, in relation to what your conscious is actually working with. And I think in that sense that's how it becomes life-changing, because you actually get your brain communicating with itself in a much better way, and yeah, from that point of view it would be, yeah. I think it's a very life-enriching game, and to call it a game is almost a misnomer in a way, because it sort of makes it sound like it's trivialising it, but at the same time it is fun and enjoyable to play, so you can actually get something quite deep and meaningful from something that is entertaining and fun. And I think, yeah, if you want to enrich your life and yeah, further your journey in a way, in a more conscious way, then yes, it's worth getting one of these games, very much so.